Hey fans, welcome to Primo Reef Acrylics. Today we have another update on another sump. Now this sump is actually for a client in Montreal that's buying the entire combo from me. That's based off my personal aquarium that they seen. But anyways, this sump here is a 52-gallon sump. Pretty decent, really large sump. The measurements on this are 44 inches by 16 by 17 inches. So that's length, width, and height. Pretty straightforward sump. I wanted to keep everything really easy and clean looking, but at the same time it's really practical for housing any type of equipment, and this sump has a purpose of providing the best concept for most of the aquariums or reef tanks out there. Consisting of the first chamber, we have a basic 19-inch length there inside the first chamber. So this gigantic room is pretty much for filter sock. The drain is which is going to go into the filter sock. We have a skimmer that's going to be situated there. And at the same time, we're going to have a calcium reactor and probably a carbon reactor. So skimmer, calcium reactor, and a carbon reactor housed into one chamber. This is just to keep everything open concept. The calcium reactor footprints are pretty large, so that's what's going to house that. I didn't want to go ahead and have the calcium reactor on the outside just because, you know what, when things usually happen bad in a reef tank, it's always when you're not home. So I didn't want that problem to be for this client, so this way we have everything in the sump. If something does happen, power outage does happen, God forbid it starts leaking, it's inside the sump. Going forward after that, we have a 3-chamber system. 3-chamber baffle, and so the first baffle there, with water flows over, goes under the middle baffle and then back up again. Now going into the Refugium section. Now Refugium is going to play a main key role inside the sump or any reef tank. Refugiums are really sufficient when you're starting to have macroalgae, but also taking out a lot of nutrients from the tank as much as possible. But it's also an ideal spot for quarantining your fishes. Now, when I mean quarantine, I'm not talking about chemical quarantine. I'm talking about quarantining your fishes first here. Now, the reason why I say that, a lot of people might disagree with me. But this is just a theory that I've used, and it pretty much worked in the past. So after having several fishes in the tank, or a few fishes in the tank, sometimes the fishes that are already in there, like tangs, are very aggressive fishes. So for example, if you put a new fish that just came from a local fish store inside of your tank, the last thing you want is this fish being harassed, because A, it's being stressed out from transporting from wherever it came from to your local fish store, plus the rigorous ride that it had to go through in your car with all the potholes everywhere, and then into your aquarium. So what I suggest is, you know what, have a refugium that's housed really nicely with a lot of live copepods, a lot of little tiny insects it can pick off, because this will start to entice it to eat. Then you can start, maybe a week after, start feeding pellets or brine shrimp or myces or anything you want. But it's a place for it to gain back its energy, and once energy is there and you find it feeding really well, then transport it into your tank, because at that point it's eating healthy, it's not really that stressed out. The reason for these holes here, I made them a little different from whatever we had in the past. These holes are pretty much for allowing water movement in different flows throughout the sump. So instead of having just a waterfall over the top baffle there and leading it to overflow directly into the return area, the holes are in different places, because you can see there's smaller holes at the bottom which will cause a faster water flow. Then it goes to a little bit bigger, and then it goes to a 3/4 inch size hole. This will accommodate a lot of different types of return pumps that have different flow rates. I'll get into flow rates afterwards when the tank is set up at the client's house, but you can probably have an 1800 gallon per hour return pump on your system, and the flow here will still be sufficient enough for it to follow through. Or if you want a 300 gallon per hour pump that goes through your tank, it will still handle the flow. So again, flow rates in the Refugium to have different flows, so everything is always spinning. There's no dead matter sitting and just being decomposed inside of it. Going forward after that, the baffle will hop on over the black chamber into the bottom. This is like a bubble trap, and then into the return pump. And that's it. You know what? It's really sufficient. When I have this equipment set up, everything in here, then you guys will have a better idea how it looks. Again, this is my new logo. This is the 3D logo that I was telling you guys about. So again, it's not a sticker. It's actually a 3D logo that's welded on with acrylic right onto the front face. This way, you know, it gives it a really nice 3D texture to it. It's really, really nice. I like it. So that's it. 52-gallon sump. You know what? Let me know what you guys think. Post your comments below. And that's it. If you guys have any questions, again, post them below. Or if you guys have any inquiries for sumps, tanks, or aluminum stands, go onto my website, www.primoreefacrylics.com, and definitely fill out the quotation form. I'll be more than glad to help anybody out there. Okay guys, have yourself a great day, and thank you for watching Primo Reef Acrylics.